because for the longest time I thought massage was a person.
Okay, let's talk about this on the podcast. Yeah. Okay. That's a great way to start it. That's a great way to start the show.
Okay. Welcome to the show. Yes.
No.
By the way, a little ramble pre Lone Wolf ramble.
Yep.
I guess recently there was the announcement that there was a new iPhone coming out, as usual, as every year they do. And after that presentation, Apple stock went plummeting because there wasn't anything very new about the 16 and the 17. And there's, it happens from time to time, I think 13 and 14 wasn't a big jump either or whatever, right?
There's an old tale in the stock market. You want to know what it is?
Yes, please.
Ooh, free up storage space. Yeah, fuck off. That's not the. That's not the. That's not
the. Buy more about cloud storage.
Yeah. Buy the rumor, sell the news.
Buy
the
rumor.
The rumor gets announced and starts circulating. That's what gets that. Yeah, that's what when the talk is coming out that's going to happen or something. Like people get excited. You buy then goes up on the news. Nobody gives a shit anymore. That's
right. Yeah.
Take your profit.
Because there were rumors before. Okay, so I think Hayden is the only other Apple user.
That is not financial advice, by the way, people. As a matter of fact,
you heard it here.
I've followed that my whole life, and I am further behind now than I've ever been. So maybe
Money Talks with Justin Turnbull.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's my side podcast.
Talks. Give me your money, and you can subscribe to my newsletter.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think there were rumors months ago that Apple was gonna do a flip phone, kind of like a foldable, not flip, foldable one, kind of like what Samsung I think has already, or Google, or what I can't remember. But when they revealed it, it wasn't a big, upgrade. And so I kind of think I've got two questions here. One is, do you think the future of phones? And two, is that are there a lot of concepts that already came out a long time ago, but they're dragging it out? Because if they roll it out now, then the next couple of years, it's like, oh shit, there's like nothing really new. You know what I mean? Though, it's like if the camera phone came out like 20 years ago, then because Japan already had crazy good phones before iPhone. You know what I mean? When we were still using Nokia, whatever, Japan was ahead of its game in terms of.
Yeah, what was the brand again, Hayden? The
Nokia?
Japanese brand? No, the other one.
Nikon.
The same letter.
The camera brand, Nikon.
Oh God.
Hey, Sha, you should be on my side with this. You should be on my side with this.
I'm not getting
Nikon.
I've had this discussion. Did I have this discussion with you? I don't know if it was with you guys, but I've had this discussion twice recently about where I think it's going. Okay. Everybody makes a big deal about virtual reality, and yeah, virtual reality is cool and all that. I think we're a long way from like full immersion. And to be honest, I don't even know until we can fully, I don't even want to say like digitize ourselves, but like where you get all the sensations in your body, like you really feel like you're there. I mean, not just visual and audio, but there's so much more to actually get that full reality,
like
virtual reality experience,
like all senses.
But what I think what's going next is we're going fully augmented reality, right? Because they've already come out with this, and they look like a VR headset. So they're big and bulky, and nobody's really going to be walking around with it. But the technology's there. And so instead of just seeing a screen, what you're seeing is seeing what I'm seeing right now, right? You, the world as the world is. However, if you get a text message or you want to go onto an app, you can do it right on that screen. So instead of taking up the whole thing, it's maybe just a portion of it. Something comes up, you can Google something. You want to know where to go, you don't have to look at your phone. You can do a little pop, you know what I mean? So it's going to be immersive in front of us. I think the problem is, though, is the way they look now, nobody's really going to do that. But as soon as they can condense that, I think it'll still have to cover your full eye. But if they can make that smaller and find a way to sort of pack it into that size where you can, I don't know, they'd have to do some crazy depth perception technology where, because obviously if the things are small, when and maybe the lens or whatever that you look through is close to your face, if something were to pop up, it would have to be so small in your vision, right? So they'd have to find a way so it looks like it's kind of, you're seeing it further away. Does that make sense? Because
so you're so it's still a type of like glasses sort of thing, like goggles.
100%, but it's clear. Yeah, you
Right.
see the world. And then what's great about that too is, hey, you know what? Anywhere you're sitting, literally anywhere you are, you have these glasses on, you want to stop and watch a movie on Netflix or Prime or go onto YouTube or whatever, you can have it then take up the full screen too. So you can just sit back and you can watch your show. And you're not having to hold a hand. Oh, something happens, boom, you can switch it off and all of a sudden you can just see the world as it is. So I think we're going more to an augmented reality first. And because the natural progression is it leaves your hand, right? So that's where I think it's going.
So you'll eventually be an Apple user then, because they're the ones that are going
they have
ahead
the
with
first
augmented.
product,
Yeah, and Google I think is VR.
You know, if you don't think fucking every other tech company is working on their shit, especially after seeing it, like the race is gonna be to who can get the most compact one first that looks like you're wearing a pair of Ray-Bans or you're just wearing whatever.
It's going to be like your own personal Jarvis system without the Iron Man suit.
Literally, dude. I mean, that's I like full-heartedly believe we are going to see that in our lifetime.
Do you think in our lifetime we're going to get to a point where you insert shit in your head?
Dude, we're already there now.
Well, I mean,
because
Hayden,
you should told me what he was last weekend.
What I did last week.
John, sorry, I went off topic for a minute.
Not anally, but I'm just saying, like a brain chip. You know what I mean? Like,
Neuralink,
obviously there've been a lot of talks and like Neuralink and all that stuff. But then, is there going to be a point where like, as an Apple user, you're required to have this to use our products? You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, but
like a Matrix plugin.
I think we're more likely to start fucking with our genes before, well, maybe implants would come first, because you can genetically modify at, like, not at birth but at conception and stuff.
Yeah.
So and it's illegal right now, but you can, because you don't really know what that's going to do with evolution, right? You're fucking with the evolutionary process.
What did the Japanese just figured out how to remove the Down syndrome gene?
Right. Yeah. Because even now, like when, like for example, like when we had kids, I got 3. You can choose to have a screen, so you can know if they're going to come with any sort of conditions or like things that they can read at early stage in the pregnancy or in the conception. So
now you can remove stuff, but can you add stuff? You know what I mean? Can I be like
designer babies?
I want my kid to have blue eyes. You know,
you can do that.
You can. Yeah, you can.
That's
what you can just create your dream child, like in a video game when you make avatar, you can just like pick. Boop, 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 boop. I want it to look like this.
Yeah.
Because I was always, you know, talking to my exes or whatever. If we ever talk about kids or whatever, I'm always scared. What if I have an ugly child? Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Even as a parent's eyes, you obviously have a filter, but sometimes it's so ugly that the filter cracks a little bit, and you're like, oh fuck, like.
I can tell you,
actually, they're funny.
You'll long before you ever feel that way. By the time you feel like, oh my god, I have another ugly child, you'll be so in love with them that it won't matter. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think the ugliness is like, I'm okay with it, but I'm also scared that when they're in school they'll get bullied for being ugly. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I get it, it's bad, but as a kid, before I knew anything better, I probably bullied a little bit of ugly people. Um, it just
Thinking about
happens.
that,
It's
you
a
did
schoolyard
pick on
thing.
me a lot in film school.
Yeah, I mean that's back when I was a kid, you know. Um,
And you see, but you never know because I considered myself the ugly duckling, and now I'm not.
Well, everyone here
and
does
now
that.
I'm not as ugly as an adult. So they might grow out of the ugliness. So you don't want to like taint it. Make a
right,
beautiful
like
child
a
that
what do you
might.
call it? Like a glow up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you grow out. Yeah.
because if they're
That's true.
already beautiful, they've got nowhere to go. No, you peaked when you were born, kid.
Listen
Welcome
to
to
me.
life.
There's way better reasons to not have children. Like if you just don't want your life ruined, period, like you can just
Yeah.
no. I'm in the midst of, especially now with 5 in. So we're in the middle of hockey evals, and so I've watched over the weekend like 6 hockey games, how to do evaluations, how to do a draft. I feel like Hayden right now, and then
Australia.
Jocelyn and Elsie are both in gymnastics, so we moved this to no, just with how much
I know.
to tonight, because I had to bump the podcast to tonight. Did that, forgot I had a branch meeting for where I work, and it's just like when fall and school starts with work and them in extracurriculars, you just feel like a chauffeur some days. It's just the way it is. But it's so worth it. Love it. Fall's my favorite time of year. It used to kind of, I don't know. I used to think of it more as the end of summer.
Yeah.
But now I think of it as like it's the start of everything, man.
Yeah, I think one of my best friends loves fall because that's the start of sports.
Dude, you got the NFL starting, the NHL starting,
Basketball
my
starting.
hockey season, James's
Soccer.
hockey season,
Well,
soccer. You have baseball going into the playoffs, which is only good time to watch it. You have the NBA starting if you're into that. Like it's a great time of year.
I love fall weather too. I love jackets. I love coats.
Jackets in the morning and t-shirts in the afternoon, bruh. What's better?
Bruh.
Calling it what it's supposed to be called, the autumn. And the dead silence.
I can't
when Hayden
disagree
says something.
with you on that.
Wait, hold on.
It does sound better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyways, I'm.
That's a good point.
Hey,
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, have you met this guy called Masad?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Tell us about what you learned about Masad, Shao. As we get into our topic.
As we get into our topic. So, for those of you who have joined us last episode on Chummy Thumbs, we are in the midst of watching Terminal. Is it called Terminalist? I call it Dark Wolf.
I was calling it Lone
it's the
Wolf for
prequel
so
one.
long, but yeah, Dark Wolf.
Yeah, Terminalist, Dark Wolf, the prequel. And we discussed a couple episodes last time. I think 3 episodes condensed into one, and now we have watched 4 and 5. And as I continue watching, I sometimes can't follow along as well. And yeah, I could rewind. I just didn't. The plot gets a little bit messy. Not like in a bad way, just for me. I'm like, oh shit, there's this stuff going on, and then like they're over here now. They got separated. There's backstabbing. Who's working for who?
A lot of espionage.
A lot of espionage. Very good.
Who's on whose side?
And then names as well. I'm bad with names. I'm always just like, the Jack guy from Umbrella Academy, or Chief. You know, they call him Chief, or like, or the girl, or the black guy. You know what I mean? I literally only know Mo. That's the only name I remember.
And LT.
That speaks volumes, man.
Yeah, he's so good. I love him.
And we almost lost him. We almost lost him.
That's right.
It was definitely in these 2 episodes, especially the first episode and how the first episode ended. It was kind of like the first time where they opened up this whole. Because while they're all spies and from different agencies and working together and like, can you really trust these people has come up, I never really got a sense of like maybe as an audience and having seen shows like this before, you think like, okay, maybe there's going to be something at some point, like who can you trust? But it was never, they didn't really play it up. Some shows like really play it up, like after something they'll cut and do a zoom on the eyes and they dart around and it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. But I didn't feel that at all. And then so when that moment did happen, yeah, it changed everything, because then like whole new storylines were kind of introduced and backstory lines and then so trying to keep up with all that, I see where you're coming from and I do agree with it. I didn't think that they did it clunky or bad, but yeah, it's definitely more to follow.
I feel like this show has some moments where they assume the audience knows certain vocabulary or certain operations already, unless I missed it. You know what I mean? So, for example, why we brought up Mossad was, I remember there was a point when someone was asking, "Oh, I work for Mossad or whatever," and I said, "Who's Mossad? Like, which one is Mossad?" And I thought I missed something, which then I found out later. Mossad is like the Arab, like CIA, like a agency, right? Which now it makes a lot of sense. But for a long time thought it was someone. So we just haven't seen him yet. It's like somewhere we're like we're gonna see him later in like episode 7 or something.
It's like Al Jabouri's boss or whatever.
Right. We're gonna find some crazy actor to play Mossad. You know what I mean? So
Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, and then my girlfriend told me, no, you're an idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because I had the same
I
thing.
like her. I need to meet this girl. She is. I like her already.
Calls it straight.
Yeah,
I think it does take a bit of assumed knowledge, though, or it wants you to just hear it and then move on, like so you don't get hung up on it, because there is a lot of.
I just want to. Yeah, sorry.
No, go.
No, I was gonna say, but like specifically on Mossad, like that's. I mean, I don't want to be the one to say it, Shao, but I feel like you should have heard about Mossad before. They're kind of like, it's like not hearing about the KGB or the CIA or whatever Canada's one is called.
Right.
Canadian Intelligence Service, I think it's the CIS, the CIS.
Is it really?
I think it is.
We claimed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought it would have been like a, what do you call it? Acronym. Is that what I'm looking for? Like a.
Yeah.
Like
maybe it is. What do the letters stand for? It very well could be.
It stands.
I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna go in there.
Yeah.
We'll give Justin a few moments to think of an acronym.
Merry old sneaky spies after them.
After them.
I believe.
After them.
I believe.
That's the broken English of the Arab.
Yeah.
Trying to explain the intelligence service. Sneaky spies after
anybody
them.
do an Arab accent that can say that? What is an Arab accent?
I thought you were gonna do one earlier.
Is it pretty spot on? Do I need subtitles?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Hayden, sorry, you to go.
Yeah, Hayden. Yeah, you had a thought.
No, I was just it's a good point, but I was just saying that there's assumed knowledge. So not everybody's going to be down with military lingo or intelligence agencies around the world. Like I wonder if the German intelligence is just called German intelligence. It's like, who do you work for? Is it Mossad? And he's like, I work for German intelligence. It's like, you're a friendly? Like,
spoiler alert.
I didn't say who said that. There's no spoiler there. I just said the dialogue. No spoilers. So, and there's a lot of jargon there. So I get it. It's like, you can either dwell on it and go, oh, what are all of these like military operational words and who are these organizations? Or do I just kind of, I find myself sometimes, like you shall get confused on who and what is being presented to us, but then I will just let it roll and hope that it's good storytelling, that it'll eventually fall into place. Who is who,
right,
and what is what,
right,
and who's working for whom.
I think, yeah, because there's two different approaches when you're telling a story, right? And there's the one where the audience knows something, but the characters don't. And then there's the approach of the audience only knows what the characters know, or the audience is finding out information as the characters are.
Right.
And so I think it's just like kind of the approach they've taken. And I do like it really well. There's this real sense of not knowing and wanting to know. And that like, oh my, like, I mean, I think some people could watch it and be maybe put off by it because it's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. What's he's talking about? Who's Mossad? Like, and then not, and lose interest in it. But for me, I like stuff like that. As long as it doesn't get like too convoluted, you know what I mean? It still has to be good acting, good story, good writing, good directing, all that stuff. But I like it when shows do that because it leaves me in sort of like a more heightened sense when I watch it. And one thing I really noticed that I wanted to talk about, and it was in episode 4, because we watched episode 4 and 5. And it spoke volumes to me because I remember watching these scenes. One, when the Iranian guy, I think he comes to visit, and they have a conversation, and it's the two brothers, and they've been living in like outside of Iran while they're like working on this stuff. And you know, the one guy gets his son a dagger. It's like a symbol. It's very meaningful. And then the brother, who's been living outside, sort of in, you know, the Western world, gets him an iPhone, and he's jumping up and down, jumping up and down. He's so excited. I love you, I love you, I love you. And there's just like kind of like a look. And then there's a scene in the garage, and he says, you know, I think you forget where you come from. And then when he's talking to his brother after, when that guy's left, just one-on-one, the two brothers, they have that conversation. And I remember coming away from that, and I was like, man, not at any point in those scenes did anybody say anything threatening whatsoever at all. But there was this real sense of danger. I just felt it. I was like, oh my goodness. And even when he said at the end, the brothers are chatting, it's all good. And he just says at the end, like, you know, he's right. You are forgetting where you came from or something. So again, not threatening. And he didn't even say it in a threatening way. There's nothing threatening about it, but they were still able to capture that real sense of danger. And I was like, fuck, man, like this show for me is just like the package, you know?
Yeah, there's some real good masterclass stuff. I couldn't stop preaching about the whole tunnel ambush scene. I thought the choreography of all that was brilliant, and it wasn't overdone. It was, you know, I say it's realistic in a way that your main characters get hurt. You know what I mean? They
As
get
realistic as it can
shot.
be. Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't know what it's really like to be in war or whatever, in the crossfires or whatever, but all the other movies, it's like, oh, they can dodge bullets like this and that and this and that, and you know, the enemies always miss. Although, I mean, obviously, certain times they're like well within range and they still, you know, whatever. I get it, but yeah, the combat stuff is really fun to watch. So yeah, obviously we're kind of condensing. It's not a recap episode or anything like that, but we're condensing a lot of stuff into today's Chummy Thumbs episode. But they are also very good. The show, I mean, in ending the episode. Every episode so far has like a cliffhanger, you know, or like, oh, what's happening next? That kind of thing. That's really like I can't wait till next episode. So I tell all my friends to check it out, but maybe wait until all of the episodes are out first.
Oh, there's 5 out now. And actually, I want to say, because is the tunnel scene how episode 5 starts, or episode 4? How about episode 4 ends? Yeah.
4 ends, and then Chief and the girl Elena.
Yeah, we'll roll with it. Let's just call her Mossad.
Yes.
She,
Name's Tal.
For those of you who know,
they escaped to the tunnel, right?
Oh no, it
Yeah, the
is
tunnel.
Eliza.
Yeah.
Eliza. Oh shit, Eliza.
You were so close.
Yeah. That's
Elena,
my name.
Eliza.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I want to put this question I'll put it to Hayden. Because yeah, that tunnel scene so well executed. I mean, I love the coming up with the plan, the execution of it. It wasn't overdone. It was like simple to the point, direct, fast movements in and out. And then of course they were ambushed. They were supposed to have like 5 or 9 minutes before, 5 minutes before authorities would arrive. That was their window. Of course, they were there within, probably a minute or less. So then they have to escape. And then so at the end of the episode is where we see the first betrayal. And yes, we're going to get into spoilers here, people. So if you haven't watched it, and I'm telling you, you got to watch the show. The end of episode 4, we get the reveal of Eliza working, like having her own sort of thing. Now, we talked kind of briefly at the beginning about how, maybe like stuff like this happens in these types of shows. Hayden, did you see it coming? Like, did you have a suspicion that somebody might have an ulterior motive in the group? If so, did you see it was her? How do you think they did it? Because personally, I kind of didn't see it coming, but I knew with how she didn't kill him, she just shot him in his body armor and then knocked him out, that it was like, okay, I was kind of left unknowing, like, she left him alive. Did she do that because she had a relationship with him? Or is maybe she not quite as bad as the whole betrayal seems?
I was going to bring that up because of everything you've said before about how, bad dudes prolong things and they don't go in for the kill shot. And then that scene, exactly that happens. I was like, I bet you Justin is yelling at the TV right now. Because she shoots him 3 times, but doesn't put the kill shot in. So I was like, oh, it's conveniently leaving him alive. But fast forward to episode 5, she explains why she did it. So I was like, okay, they kind of fixed that problem there.
But at the end, did you see it coming from her? Like, what
I didn't see it coming from her. I felt like, because they bring it up, both LT and Chief talk about how it's the worst place to do it. They didn't want to do it in the tunnel. Well, LT says that. He's like, the tunnel is the worst spot to do it. We shouldn't do it there. There's too many points. And then, of course, obviously that's what happens. They get freaking cornholed in the tunnel and have to retreat back through it. I thought that, well, I still think that the person who is going to betray them also is old brother Hemsworth. I feel like something about him isn't quite right, because he was obviously, he was
too
part of,
obvious though.
maybe, but he's
I
already.
feel like this show doesn't take the obvious way, and I feel like he'd be the obvious pick. Like, they're building him up to be kind of somebody you don't like.
Yeah, sleazeball Hemsworth.
Because I mean, if you look at it on paper, he's
like rape somebody.
Yeah, the tech girl.
Yeah,
Tal or whatever her name is.
Tal, yeah, who goes hand to hand with Ethan.
yeah.
took
I
us
want to
down
talk
the
about that
mountain.
scene later. That is definitely on my list of scenes to talk about.
That's a very realistic scene also. But the tunnel scene, I didn't see it coming specifically from one of their own, I think. And it was like, okay, they've got there, and then who showed up? Was it people in the van already had their own people out there? Is it some other government? Have they been betrayed within? Obviously, you kind of go through all the motions of, was it one of their own? Have they been set up? Is their intelligence wrong? Is, what's going on there? So, and then when it made sense when it was her that shot him, because you look back through the episode and they ride in together on the motorcycle and they're very flirty together, and it's like, is this something from the books that we don't see and they've just cut it out for TV purposes, where it's like...
Ugh. What did you say?
You heard me say it. Don't be giving me the... I didn't hear it.
Cut at the perfect time.
Well, books. I'm assuming because this is based on a book, but apparently the character of Chief is much different. So that's what distinguishes the show to the books. But I was like, there's some they kind of either have time jumped a little bit, or because they sort of talked about how they had a thing, like a relationship. I don't know if that was in episode 5 or you see fleetings of it in episode 4. So, which is kind of funny because Chief is married, and he's like toying with the idea of getting some strange.
Went through a rough patch.
Yeah. Very much rough. I just got to put it out there. He gets absolutely blasted in these 2 episodes. He gets shot like 6 times. He takes an RPG to the front of the truck, and then he gets blown up. And he comes out of it still able to take down dudes with his gun and get away safely. I mean,
yeah, he's hobbling now, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying he took it tough, and it goes. It's a testament.
He's a hockey player, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
like he's a hockey player. He is. No, he is. I'm telling you.
He's a hockey player.
He's built different.
By the way, side note, very, very side note. My friend actually served Taylor one time at, is it the Keg or Milestones? And he said he was the nicest guy, which was nice to hear. He got a 5 egg white omelet.
Nice.
Wow, very healthy.
At Milestones. I think he was in the middle of training for it. I can't remember which movie he told me
John
about.
Carter.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to digress into the big announcement the New York Rangers made this morning.
Oh, the captain?
Who?
The new captain?
Yeah, what?
That's a major digression. I meant to bring that up
major.
at the beginning because I thought that's what you were going to start the episode with because you said
You know who I thought?
No, Hayden. The new
off track.
New York Rangers captain was a former Vancouver Canucks that we got rid of, and everyone loved him, or a lot of people liked him, and we got rid of him.
Anyways, he's
a lot of
He's the
people
captain.
also didn't like him.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
you
true.
know what? Let's save the episode 5 of Dark Wolf and more thoughts for next episode. Let's dive
And we
into the
just
show.
talk about.
Were you
let's
pro
talk-
JT Miller? Were you team JT or were you team Pedersen?
Oh no! Don't make me do this.
You've got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds to talk.
I was team. Guys, work it out.
No.
I was team. Work the fuck out, guys. Like, come on, don't be a little bitch like that. I mean, like.
Yeah. I was the same. Team work it out. Anyways, Hayden, sorry.
Anyways, yeah.
I think Hayden's melting right now, everybody.
And
Literally
actually 30
melting.
seconds.
He's bleeding from the ears.
Talking about Vancouver sports teams, why don't you talk about the team that just annihilated a US team 7-0? The Whitecaps.
What's nil? How many is nil? How many points is nil? Is that better? It's less than 9, right? Is it less than 9? Tell me it's less than 9. Did we win?
Oh fuck! That's so funny.
Nil is 0. Expand your vocabulary.
Why don't you just say 0?
Because it's
9-0.
nil.
9-0.
It's nil.
9-0.
What if I was
Yeah,
talking
9-0.
tennis? 15 love, 30 love, 40 love.
Yeah, but that's just like a nice way of saying you have no points.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying you suck. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Tennis players deserve participation awards.
Yeah. And who thought of the system of 15, 30, 40?
Yeah.
What is
Game.
that?
I heard that somebody, like when they actually invented tennis, that they just asked their 4-year-old what the
How
score
do you
is.
count?
Yes.
And they should be, and that's what they came out with. And what should we call it if you have 0? And then they said love.
Love.
I thought that was
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That's true facts, people.
True facts.
You look it up. Look it up.
The history of tennis. Okay, so to get back on to the question that you asked me, Justin, didn't know who was going to betray. I just thought something was going to happen because they did have the doubts of whether the tunnel was the best place to do the thing.
Yes.
But the last thing I want to mention about it isn't even a story thing. It's a technical camera thing. Because I know, Justin, you're a sucker for a good camera movement. And that whole sequence
That's the truth.
is a fantastic camera movement. And I watched it a couple times, actually, because I did enjoy it. But it appeared that we were inside the car with the guy. And then when they do the jump on them and they shoot out the bulletproof glass and they stick the gun in and they shoot everybody in the vehicle, and then it moves, and then all of a sudden we're outside. And I was like, hang on, weren't we just inside of a vehicle? And then all of a sudden we're outside gliding around, and then we go into another vehicle, which then drives through the tunnel, and they get hit with the RPG. It was all just one fluid motion in and out of vehicles without even like, it was very well done. Like they swished it at the very right point that you don't see the fact that they've stepped out the side of probably just like a van sliding door. But I was like, that's a good piece of camera movement there. And of course it was in a very intense scene as well. So I watched it a second time because, as always, I watched the 2 episodes back to back, but I was like, hang on, I've only watched 1 episode because I was in and out of sleep for 2 episodes, and it pieced together as one in my brain. So I was like, I gotta go back through this and watch the chunks that I missed.
Right.
But yeah, leading into episode 5, thoughts on that? Like, were you?
Yeah, so episode 5 is, just to briefly, I guess, recap it with you guys and get into the stuff I liked, was a lot to do with, because they had split up. Mossad was off with the bearings. Chief was by himself in the tunnels. Lieutenant LT was
He drove all the way to Austria.
Is it
What's
Vienna
that?
or Austria? Yeah, something like that.
and he was with the guy he had hostage that he was basically torturing for information.
Did we ever have like, because when that happened, I was like, did I miss something? Like, it was just assumed that he was sent there after the mission failed to get answers, sort of thing.
I think he makes a point of dialogue to say, "Oh, you faked dying in the car," and he must have gone. He must have gone back and taken him, because he just kind of split off by himself. I think once they got back in the tunnel, he must have seen him and grabbed. It was just like one of those scenes that they redact, and we just assume that line of dialogue is going to help us overcome our how did that happen, sort of thing.
Sure.
The only thing actually I didn't get was when they kept talking about her. Oh, she did this, she did that. I was like, who's she? Because the first time it happened, when the guy who's running the whole show, what guy, Shao?
Haverford?
Oh, you have the name? Yeah, okay.
I looked it up during the break.
Break? We had a break?
Damn it. I tried to set you up.
The brother?
Yeah.
No.
Because when all this shit happened, he's like, oh, she did it. Or he said she, and then I was like, oh, he knew that it was Mossad, like the girl. But then she said it later, like she must have knew that, because when Chief was like talking to her before they got ambushed, like, and she didn't have a weapon, and he was kind of trying to get the truth, which I love that little scene between them where she said something like, don't we care about the same thing? And he's like, I care about loyalty. And she's like, and you don't think I do? But her loyalty is just somewhere else, right? Like she's loyal, like she says, to her mission. And when they're having this conversation, and she explains, because she said, no, it wasn't Mossad who did it, like ambushed them. She also said the word she must have knew her. She's alluded to this other woman. And I was like, who is this she? I don't know if I missed something, but I couldn't. And I went back and I was like, I don't know what is happening. I must have missed something. But anyways, so that's sort of like getting the backstory on them, like Chief and the girl he's with, Eliza. So that's kind of like a main focus of episode 5, and then LT torturing and getting the information from who we find out at the end is German intelligence. But the scene I want to talk about the most in episode 5, what grabbed me, was the tech girl when she sneaks into the apartment. And Hayden, you had alluded to it earlier, like talk about a realistic scene. And for me, this is one of those scenes where you watch and go, okay, this is a comparable. This is where I can directly compare something to the show we just watched, which was Butterfly, the fight scenes. And I know there's styles and there's choices, and if you're shooting a certain style show, your fight scenes are gonna be a certain way. But I love the raw, the gritty, the holy shit, this is happening. Do whatever you have to do to try and survive this fight. And I thought that they did an excellent job of executing that. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. There was nothing in there that I didn't feel like was unrealistic. I thought they just absolutely nailed it with that scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that tech girl, I don't know how, I don't know how big or small she is, but when she's fighting against fucking Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you see that on paper, you're like, okay, the girl shouldn't be able to win. But then, yeah, you're right. It wasn't in the part where it was so unrealistic that she defeated him. She was using whatever's around.
Well, it started right too, because she was able to get a shot off, right? She shot him. So he's, now one shot isn't going to kill somebody, especially if it's not in the head or the heart, right?
Yes.
And when your adrenaline's going, like, I mean, I've seen videos where people have been shot multiple times and they're still running or trying to fight. Like, if they're not fatal shots, you know what I mean? Just like you have that adrenaline, and it isn't until like as it wears on and you lose more blood and all that
totally.
And so I thought like starting the fight scene that way, like her being able to get that off, okay, but then the fight happens. I think she gets another pretty decent shot on him pretty early. And so, yeah, that kind of was able to make the rest believable, that she's able to take on such a big guy.
And like even the field a little bit more.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, totally. So that was really, that was a fun scene.
And the way they built it up too, I was actually unsure, because in scenes like that, again, like comparing it to other shows like this I've seen, like I didn't know which way they were going to go, because for me the show is so unpredictable, because sometimes they'll do a scene like that, they're in somebody's apartment, like, somebody leaves their apartment, somebody sneaks in, they're trying to do something or get something, and then they don't know when the other person's going to come back, and then it's like, oh, maybe they are coming back, and then and then he comes in, and then she's gone, but then
the door turns.
Why is my window closed? And then they close the window, and it's like, and like I didn't know with this, and I felt this real like uncomfortableness of like, holy fuck, like I think this guy is going to come back into the apartment, and like we already know, like I don't have this sense watching this show that anybody's safe. And I remember being like, I don't want them to kill her. Like if he comes back, like I could see them doing that in this show. And then he came back and it's like, oh my God. And then, it was just, as an audience member, it grabbed me so many different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, they built it up.
When she was doing the extraction, I think there was some, if I recall correctly, there was some light, tense music playing, and it's high stakes because she's breaking and whatever. And then the actual turning point for me was just discovering the camera. It's like, oh fuck, and that happened so quick after. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, oh shit, and then literally a couple seconds later he comes barging in, and then it just was game on. So it's you're like teetering on the edge, like Hayden on the fence of just kind of it's something gonna happen. I can see it not happening and be a false alarm, and then you're teetering, and then boom, and then it's just like crazy action.
And she knew she was fucked as soon as she seen that camera. I thought she did a really good job of like, that's definitely when things got really heightened.
Yeah. Hayden, you were saying?
Just that even in the fight, it wasn't like a Jason Bourne thing, because they set up her character already in the fact that she's not a field operative. Like she's not designed to be out there with a gun shooting it up with the big boys and big girls. So you
Yeah,
already
she had
kind
like
of
basic training or something.
yeah, and already to be off on her own seemed a little bit not suspicious but odd. It's like, why would they send everybody to the tunnel and then they send her? I can't remember the character's name, like his code name or whatever, and because he was sending the files, I can't even remember who he was sending the files to, but it was someone that they had to intercept and steal the files from him. But I was like, something bad is gonna happen, and then even in the fight, I was like, not even like, in that scene in Game of Thrones, Justin, as far as I've seen it, where Pedro's character is fighting and he's like really cocky and he's good, and then he gets too cocky and then he gets killed. So it was sort of like there was I was like, she's gonna die. She's absolutely gonna die. She's getting some good shots in, and then I was like, please don't cliche.
Yeah.
And she like reached the gun and shoots him with the gun, and then they didn't. They switched it, and she threw the coffee on him. Or no, what'd she do? The paint, and then lights the paint on him. And I was like, there you go, that's good. It's like they take it to the point where you think you know what they're gonna do,
Yes.
and then they're able to do something different, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I
And
love
then,
it, man.
And then as gross as it sounds, I enjoy the fact that they made her throw up after that fight, because I'm like, that's exactly what would happen. That's exactly your adrenaline spikes, and then you just bleh, and then you just move on.
Yeah. Oh God, man, I love this show. It's easily one of the better shows I've watched in a long time, and okay, let's get into the rest of it. I mean, with the LT and the torture thing, I mean, there was moments where, I mean, it was good. I thought he played it well, but there's kind of moments where I was like, I don't want to say it seemed like filler, but I don't know, because the information at the end of that, we get that the guy he's torturing works for German intelligence, and then LT goes, we're on the same team, or you're on my team. And I thought, wait a minute, is German intelligence on your team? Like, what was German intelligence code for something? Does that, like, if you're caught and you have to say and you're being tortured, like, is that what you're supposed to say? Like, I was just kind of confused as to, and I know we'll find out more. Like, that's kind of like the cliffhanger of his storyline. And then, of course, the big cliffhanger is, and this is a big spoiler, people, is at the end of the episode when the Eliza and Chief are escaping. Motorbike comes by and puts a bag on the roof of the car, and as soon as they hear the thud and see the motorbike go by, of course they scream, jump out, and they do. And then we find out Eliza's, we don't see her dead, we see her bloody arm, and he takes the bracelet off. Because as we were talking about, like, going to against sort of the norms of what you expect in, or what we've come to expect in TV shows. I felt like that was unexpected for me. And I don't know if she will be dead. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on it. If you think she's dead or not. Like, I feel like she is. The fact that he took the bracelet, I mean, we don't see it as the audience, but he sees it. And I don't know if he looked and thought she might still be alive, I don't feel like he would take the bracelet. So that was like an indicator for me. But one quick thing before I want to get your guys' thoughts on that is, because Hayden, you talked about that scene briefly at the beginning of the episode. Like, just the realism of it. Like, I loved it, the training. And I think I talked about this last episode, and we talked about it, like, with the using the lights, or just the extreme, like, training that these guys have. And they do a really good job of showing it in the show. Was in that scene when the motorcycle, he kind of comes to, and the motorcycle flips around and it's driving at him, and he starts shooting at them, and they're shooting at him. I don't know why, but like, I just love when shows do this. He just literally stands his ground. He's kind of behind the door, and he doesn't break aim, and he just shoots. And to me, it's like, that's just like a sign of like training. Okay, I'm stationary. I have two hands on my gun. I have a better chance of actually hitting, because it's not easy to hit somebody at distance with a handgun. And so just having that while the guy's kind of on the backseat of a motorbike trying to shoot him. And I don't know why, like, little things like that is like get me excited, but I don't know, this show, man, it just like even to the finest detail.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I actually the last part where he took the bracelet, because yeah, you're right. You only see his arm kind of come into frame. I thought, are they gonna do it where when he's reaching for it, he doesn't take it through the hand, but
just
take
takes
it
the
the
hand?
other way? No, I thought the hand was gonna be blown off.
Oh.
So I thought he's gonna take it this way, and this was chopped off. I'm like, that's how they're gonna show that she's dead. That's insane. But they didn't do that. But yeah, I think what do I know? That it's safe to assume that she's dead, because you're right. If for someone who's that trained and that experienced, he should know
And he wouldn't
if
leave.
she's dead or not.
Yeah.
And wouldn't take the bracelet.
I mean, maybe he would leave her because, again, goes back to he's got his mission, and if she's really, really bad or whatever and still in danger. But still, I don't think if he thought she was alive, A, he would just leave her there. And if he did, B, I don't think he would take the bracelet. That's just like a fuck you, you know?
Yeah, 100%. How many episodes are there in the series again? Do you remember? 8?
I think Hayden said 7.
7?
I love, which I love,
shit.
and Hayden knows that. There's nothing I love more than when a TV series does an odd number of episodes, because it's always like 8, 10, or 12, right? I love it when they do.
you have a lot of even number stuff, right? Like 6. I've seen 6. I think Butterfly, wasn't Butterfly 6 or something?
6,
or,
yeah.
Yeah, there's 6, 8, 10, 12, but yeah, 7. All right. Interesting.
7.
Near the end.
I'm gonna say that she's 100% dead because I had questions about that because it's obviously the people on the motorcycle were the same organization that figured out where they were going to be in the tunnel and jumped them there. But the fact that they got away and they spent the night in that random apartment and then they were still tracked down the next morning, I'm like, who are these people? It seemed a little convenient that they were still looking for them and found them, unless they're also bugged. Like the boss, the CIA boss, he found the tracking thing in his phone charger, so he's obviously being tracked that way. Are they also being tracked on their persons individually? Would make sense why they found them. But they dropped that duffel bag bomb on the driver's side roof. And I think it was a humane way of showing someone who has been blown up, essentially. Or severely burnt. Because it's a big explosion. Like it rips the roof off the car, essentially. And that's why I was like, he gets hammered. He gets shot with a missile, he gets shot by bullets, and he gets blown up. And he's broken. He has no body armor in that last one as well, so after they throw it all away. Side note, can you imagine if you were just like a dumpster trash like person on the street in Budapest or wherever they were, and you just open one dumpster and there's like tactical vests and assault rifles in there, and like now all of a sudden some random person has high caliber weapons. I was like, is it the best way to dispose of the weapons? But I mean, I guess I don't really care. They're like, we're out of this country tomorrow, so it doesn't matter. So
no traces.
Keep
What
your
would you
sidearm
do?
only.
What would you do if you were? Would you immediately report it, or would you? I always thought what I would do if I found in my backyard or whatever, just digging up stuff, a pile of cash.
Like
I wouldn't turn that
Escobar
in,
being
but
there.
I would definitely call in for if it was like weapons and stuff. If there's like a smoke bomb or something like that, like maybe I'd take one, or like something something like not lethal, like that might just be fun to throw at a campfire some night. But no, I would definitely call it in.
Yeah.
'Cause I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I'm not gonna. I don't want or need weaponry like that. A.
What about the
and
cash though? What about the cash?
Yeah, I wouldn't
What if
want
it's
to try
like
and sell it. If it was cash, I'd keep it. Oh yeah.
what if it's like, like drug related and they're like they'll come looking for it one day or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I need more backstory.
Well,
Give
that's
me-
kind of that's okay. Okay, you know how like Breaking Bad stored a bunch of cash in those barrels or whatever,
Mhm.
right? If you dig that and then you see a barrel, you open the barrel and it's just wads and wads of hundreds, right? Clearly, it's not. It seems dirty. Like,
Yeah.
why would they store it? Bury that much cash in a barrel anywhere. So it's like, but
Yeah, take it.
I want to take it too.
I would
but-
count it, and if it's like, yeah, if it's over a certain amount, I mean,
Or would
yeah,
you kind of start skimming the top a little bit here and there and like, oh, it was like that when I got here. You know what I mean? Like,
Someone's already done
and
it up.
hopefully they don't mind the missing, like, I don't know, $10,000 or whatever it is out of like the 5 million that's in there or something. You know what I mean?
I see. I think that would be more dangerous.
To skim versus take
Yeah.
the whole thing and to pretend that someone else took it.
Yeah, you know why? Because I think if you skim, then you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna spend that because you're not gonna take too much because you're gonna test it out.
Yeah,
Then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, and then maybe you're gonna go back. Then maybe you're gonna go back, and I feel like the more you go back, the higher risk you are of getting caught. Like if you're there once, nobody's around, take the money and run, baby. If you know it's dirty, if it's like, you find it in somebody's closet or something,
and you see like a little
But-
kid's
yeah.
note like saying like "do not touch" and like the letters are backwards and upside down and shit.
please do not touch.
Yeah, please do not touch. Hayden and spelled wrong.
Yeah.
But
College fund.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess I'd take it. I'd take it. And
That-
and
that
just
thing-
tell people I wouldn't. I don't know what happened.
I have two quick news stories to digress even further really quickly that will go exactly what you're saying. Have you ever seen Narcos?
Oh yes.
Yep. Well,
Okay,
only the Escobar episodes. I didn't watch
Yeah.
a couple after.
You didn't
The
watch the
Escobar ones.
Mexico one?
I don't think so.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I heard it was.
So
good too.
Escobar, he buried money all across Colombia in like people's farms and whatnot. Recently, I said probably last year or whenever it was, a farmer actually found one of his big bundles of, well, they assumed that it was one of Escobar's bundles of like $50 million or whatever on his property. He had the same dilemma, but I think he handed it in because he knew it was Pablo's, even though Pablo's been dead for how long?
So really, it was probably like 20 million that he had buried.
And he kept a little bit. So he probably went through the same thing, but he's under the impression that maybe someone's still looking for it. If there's any connections still to Pablo and, well, I mean, who's
I
in charge
think in
of-
that situation, I would probably take 5 million. I guess if you're Colombian, you wouldn't even need that much. But let's say take 5 million and then rebury it, and
Just
just
be like-
and then just rebury it. Yeah.
Okay, and then quickly the other thing before we get back to the show, you were talking about what would you do if you found like weapons or whatnot in a dumpster? There was a story just recently of a Chinese woman, an old grandma in China, who had been using an old hand grenade as a hammer for like 30, 40 years and didn't realize until someone was like, like the old World War I ones that had like the stick on the end of it. Or like,
Oh.
so
Yep.
she thought it was like a little hammer, and it had never detonated, and it was still active, but it never detonated on her. And like she's been using that for like 40 years as a hammer, and it never exploded. Very lucky.
That's insane. So those ones you obviously have to also pull a pin, and then you throw it, and then it can detonate just on impact kind of thing, or is it a timed thing?
I don't know. I think, but any kind of like impact is going to set
it's-
the ignition pin off inside of it.
I don't know about those ones, but grenades are timed, right?
Yeah,
It takes
They don't
it takes some
explode on
time for
time.
the reaction to happen inside, right?
Yeah.
so you can
Right.
throw it without getting your hand blown off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa, that kind of just fit in right perfectly. Those two little headlines, Hayden. Thank you very much. We are kind of running up to it for time here. So I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts that you want to say on the show, and then we can wrap it up.
No, just that Wednesdays I have stuff to look forward to. Hope you guys are tuning in Wednesdays as well and following with us because, like Justin said, this and when I touched on last episode is that I don't usually watch war stuff, but this is next level for me. It's really fun, really good cinematography, acting, casting, directing, everything so far is a hit. So,
would you give it how many chummy thumbs up?
Right now, full chums up, full chums up.
You heard that?
Full chums.
I was got a full chum for this episode.
Yeah, full chums. That's right. So, yeah.
The last thing I want to say is I am interested to see where LT's character is going to go, because he plays off as the good Boy Scout, right? But he obviously has experience in torture methods, which is questionable. But he does talk about how he used to skin water buffalo back in Africa with his uncle. That whole bit there with the lime and how it burns, and his uncle wanted his bare hands to feel it. He wasn't going to want him. It was a very manipulative bit of dialogue to scare the shit out of you, and obviously it was painful enough that the guy ended up dying anyway. But I am curious to see where he's going, because he's always the conscience of Chief. He's like, think about this, think about this, think about this. Why you used to be like this? Why are you like this? And then he suddenly goes and does that.
It's so true. And they have a really good back and forth in this episode where he does say that. LT says to Chief, like, think about these things, and then Chief has his rebuttal. And LT's just as open to hear Chief as Chief is to hear LT. So I love that little relationship they have. I just want to quickly touch on that before I wrap it up, Hayden. Yeah, because that was such a great scene. And even like, again, going back to like the details, because he would cut him with a knife deeply, and then he would stitch him back up. And then he would just keep reopening the same kind of wounds and stitch him back up. So pretty gnarly. But what I thought was wild was where he cut him. Like, you see him, he's tied up, he's chained, so he's being held up by his arms. So he's stretched out with his kind of knees hanging on the ground. And then he's cutting him like right where the muscle's stretching. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like right kind of like under the arm on that piece of muscle going down there. I was like, oh, so that's just pulling the cut open slowly as he hangs. The more weight he lets go. I was like, damn, man. But anyways, yeah, super excited. Episode 5 comes out tomorrow. Listen, we did mention last episode about giveaways that we want to do coming up. We didn't get to talk about it at all this episode because, we did go over 2 episodes of Dark Wolf, but we'll be sure to start releasing some information out on the next one. So do please stay tuned for that. Very excited about it. If you missed the last episode and you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen. We kind of get into what Shao had brought back from his gaming convention, PAX, down in Seattle. Some pretty cool stuff. So thanks again for coming out and hanging out with us. We look forward to chatting next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen. And you can follow us on social media as Chummy Thumbs. And until next week, folks, don't forget to keep on chumming.
Clinky, clinky. Oops.
Ooh, yours looked pink there for a second, Hayden.